Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk, and today I'm bringing you one of the projects I showcased along with our blog hop using the Floating and Fluttering bundle. So this is a fabulous bundle in the new catalogue that you can get, that has a stamp set, and it has a coordinating die that goes with it as well, and you get two that cut out this lovely butterfly image, the frames, and also dies that cut out the individual butterflies, and one that actually does the embossing as well. So a lovely one, and obviously I couldn't resist because it's butterflies and flutterbys. And to say the product, that's the product, this is the project, and it's a lovely just tall triangular gift box. This sort of style, has been around a while, but I just thought it was a bit of fun, and I've been meaning to make one for ages, and I thought the little label made a really cute little tag that you could use. And I've also used the fabulous Paper Blooms paper, which if you were to buy the bundle and chuck in an ink pad or maybe some dimensionals, you'd reach the £45 spend, and you could choose this paper for free. So this paper on the one, it's 12 by 12. I've just got samples here, and you get 12 sheets of 12 by 12, two each of 6 designs, and they're all double-sided. So on the one side you've got lovely floral images that you can see here, and on the reverse you've then got some more generic ones. This one's Old Olive, so you get 2 sheets of kind of with reversive Old Olive. You get 2 sheets where the reverse is the sort of seaside spray, Night of Navy, blue tones, and then 2 sheets that's got the Rococo Rose. So Seaside Spray and Rococo Rose will be retiring this summer, so if you want those, get them while you can. And again, on the front there you can see the lovely sort of pink and blue tones. So that's what I'm going to use. And I say this really quite a bit of die cutting, but obviously you could do as much or as little as you wanted. So because I've repeated it on all 4 sides, so you could just put butterflies on the one side, you could just put it on the front, just the front and the back, whatever sort of takes your fancy. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Let's pop the paper away. These are just little pouches that I keep my samples in so that I can still use them. Oh, and it's now starting to snow. It doesn't happen very often here. We're in quite a warm part of the Midlands, just on the Vale of Evesham, so I don't get that much snow. I get very excited, and I've got new snow boots to play with. Right, so piece of card. I'm going to work in centimetres. I have done it in, worked it out in inches, which I'll pop on my blog. So just trim this down to 29 centimetres. So if you're across the pond, you'll need to use your 12 by 12 paper, I think, on the version I've done. So just trim it down to 29, and then you keep it at 21 centimetres. So we are going to score at 7, at 14, at 21 and 28. And then we're going to score up to 7 centimetres on the short edge as well. So that's all our scoring. We're going to do some marking. So I've got my kind of erasable pen here. So we're going to be marking it at 3.5, at 7 centimetres, 3.5, at 10.5, at, look at my notes here, 17.5, and then at 24.5, so we'll scooch it over here, so 24.5. So those are all the markings. Basically we're going to then score the diagonals on these, and then we'll cut up on the bottom. So that's our the marking I've done. I'm going to do that with a ruler. What I'm going to do is cut some DSP, DSP, which I have forgotten to write the measurements down on because they're on a separate bit of paper. So let me quickly grab my ruler. Okay, so 13, I want a piece that's 13 centimetres. Okay, and you're going to do again some marking on these. So the important thing here is that you're going to be marking, all of your pieces are going to be about 6.5 centimetres. So I'm going to mark at 6.5 on the bottom here, typical, it's a dark bit, and I'm going to mark at 3.25, just in that midpoint there, and then just repeat the same again. So I'll mark at sort of 13 centimetres. I don't want to do all of those bottom ones. 13, so I'll do 2 pieces there, 2 pieces there. Yeah. So at 3.25, so you're then going to mark at 9.75, 9.7. That should cut. There you go. I'll have 2 there, 2 there. Yeah. So we're then going to cut on these. So I will write those down. So cut at an angle. And by doing it off the big piece, you then actually will find that you've got a better usage of your paper. So I'll just need to cut one more. Aha! There's my scrap of paper. There we go. Hopefully they work out about the same size. Yes, they do. Wow. Okay, so I'm just going to mark this one at 6.5 again, and then cut that. Right. So I have 4 triangles at 6.5 and it would be, say, 3.25, the midpoint, just cut into those triangles there. Okay. So let's do, those are kind of our construction bits. Let's do some stamping. So this lovely image, I popped on a big block here. Really recommend you have your stamping pierce mat. That might be your item, a good item to pop onto your order. And I've just cut some pieces of card, which I find are about the right size. So it's about sort of 2 3/4, so about 9. Yeah, about. So it's about 8 by about 7 centimetres. I'm just going to use my Memento Black. Really ink that up well. Being photopolymer, you might find you need to wash your stamps first off to get the ink to adhere well, but it should work fine. And then just stamp that on there. So I find by cutting a small piece, just gives me plenty of space. And then cut as many of those as you want. Now this is where I find a little bit of the post-it tape is great. Pop your die over the top so you can sort of just see all of the image, and then just pop that down. Then that's perfect to pop through our mini cut and emboss. This is a fabulous little machine. If you are new to die cutting or you're just starting out, this is a great one. Many of the dies that Stampin' Up use fit into this. Not the biggest ones, obviously, but the small ones do. And it's so useful for stamping on the go, if you stuff on the floor, you know. And there you go, that pops out beautifully. And then the images in this stamp set are, get my words out, right, okay, so what you've got is the stamped images on this have an infill. So each of them has a solid one to fill in and then a lighter one. So if I show you what I mean, it's probably easier. Right, so I'm using my Seaside spray here for this lovely large butterfly, and this is my solid image, and all I'm going to do, now I've die cut it, is I'm going to just stamp down, and there it is, coloured already. And if I want to add some detail to that, just take a slightly darker ink, and obviously you could use Night of Navy or you could use Misty Moonlight. I'm going to use Misty Moonlight. I like the sort of softer of that. And then this, just again, line it up over the top. And there you've got your infill done. So that's my big butterfly done. My smaller one, I'm going to use Misty Moonlight stamped off because it's still quite dark. And that gives you a slightly lighter butterfly. These are just some of the combinations I'm going to use, and I'm just going to stamp that one. Good idea to stand up and stamp over, or lean over your stamping to get that alignment. Just look through your block. There you've got that really pretty butterfly. So those are my two blue butterflies, because obviously, not obviously at all because I haven't told you. So I'm using some blues on this one because I've chosen a more blue toned paper, and I'm going to use just the pink and soft sea foam for the leaves. So the leaves, dead easy, just simple stamping over the top, and this one spray does both of those sprigs of leaves. Then the little sprig here, no need for if you don't like colouring, this is a perfect set. Or if you haven't got blends yet, it takes time to build up things, but this is a great stamp set that you can use either if you don't like colouring or if you haven't yet got into colouring. But you could use watercolour pencils as well. I'm just going to stamp off with my Rococo Rose and pop that in there, and then take my accent and add that in. Okay, now what I've already done is I have stamped and die cut my label as well to create our label. So I'm just going to, with that one, I'm probably going to go for the Seaside Spray actually. No, it'll need to be Misty Moonlight. So just take your solid Misty Moonlight, stamp it off and add that just on there, and then take the accent on the Night of Navy and add that on. And on the inside I've just used the little image here, and I'm just going to use a bit of Night of Navy just to add a bit of detail, or even the Misty Moonlight, to either end of that label. And then I'm just going to score that in half, or you can fold it if you want to. I just popped it in my, so it's about 7.5, so about 3.75. And just, if you score it lightly, if it's slightly out, you've still got a bit of space to create that. And then you can always just take a black marker and just add in some little antennae if you wanted to on that as well, and just punch a hole in the top corner. So now that we've done that, let's get our box. So move all our stamps to one side, and the first thing we need to do is obviously score those diagonals. So I'm using my Take Your Pick tool, and if you remember those marks, all we're doing is we're scoring from the top down to this piece here where those score lines meet at the bottom, and we're just very simply creating 4 score lines. There's no fussy cutting or anything, it is just simple scoring, and hopefully when I do try and make these nice and straightforward for you, add your pieces while it's flat. Wet glue, probably added a little bit much. My wet glue seems to be rather warm today, so I'm just going to add a little bit in the middle there. And what I need to do is I need to come in and remove my my marks from my pen as well. I do find wet glue better for things like this, where triangles are always a little bit tricky, so I just like to make sure that I've got those in the right place, and the wet glue allows you a little bit of wiggle room on that as well. So just popping those on. And again, with this, you do need, if you're doing it the way I did to get those triangles, then a good idea is to make sure you've got a non-directional pattern, because obviously otherwise half the triangles will be upside down. There we go. And the final one. And I can just come in and remove those little tick marks from the top there. Okay. So now what we need to do is fold and reinforce those straight score lines first of all. So give those a good burnish down with your bone folder, and obviously that will help adhere your DSP at the same time. Last little one, that little joining strip, like so. And then for the diagonals, to start off with, you're going to fold them as they are with the score line. So you're going to just fold and reinforce. Oh, what I usually do is to make it easier. If you cut up the bottom ones first, that makes it easier to crease your diagonals. See, I do these. Sometimes I do these things and then forget when I come to do the video. Okay, so once you've done that, yeah. So now you can just, you see that is just nicely opening out at the bottom there, so you're not going to get any extra creases that you didn't want, because it's got room to fold. There we go. The last couple of ones, and then we're almost done. So, for our box then, all we need to do is add some holes onto here. So you see I'm punching each of those. And punch. We can stick our box together and then allow that to hold. Just using my Seal Plus. I'm just coming off the side at the bottom there. Just make sure you line that up really well. So there's our box, and you're going to thread through the centre there. So all we need to do is decide which is going to be our front. I just forgot to trim away my skinny bit. Fold those in like so, and then to create the decoration, all I have done is on these I have just, to keep those together, just come in and separated those out with my scissors, and then you've actually got a two-part butterfly rather than just the singles, which I thought was a bit of fun to add a bit of variety to it. As I say, and all you need to do then is just add a couple of dimensionals onto the front there, and then take your thread and needle through . And there we have our pretty tall triangular treat box. Just add your tag on, and I've used the Forever Greenery thread here to tie that together.